Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 11. Analu, where is your arc proverb? Gojo asked. Arc proverbs, how would you know? Obviously. He had just arrived on the empty island, but he could know the existence of the arc proverbs, and Analu was surprised. I have my own way to know that since you have joined the spell pirates, then your arc proverbs are the pirate ships of our spell pirates. Ha, that's the arc proverbs of this god. Why? Do you have an opinion? Before Analu finished speaking, Esther's sharp gaze came towards him, and the western sword wrapped in armed domineering colors was already on Analu's neck. How can this god have an opinion? Benshin is also part of the spell pirates, and Benshin's things are everyone's things, just take it. Just take. Feeling the pressing cold aura on the western sword, Analu didn't want to test whether it was sharp, and immediately confessed. Then take us to find that proverb. Stop grinding. Sasuke said impatiently. Soon after, is this the arc proverbs? It's spectacular. In the valley, Korrit looked up at the golden giant ship and couldn't help but marvel. Ha ha ha, this is the arc proverbs of this god, know the greatness of this god, lowly mortal. Hearing Korrat's exclamation, Analu was very satisfied. This is the reaction that mortals should have when they see a miracle. In front of everyone's eyes was a giant ship that was bigger than their current pirate ship. But unlike most pirate ships, on both sides of this ship, there are more than a dozen oars sticking out from the ship, which should be used for rowing. There are several propellers on each side of the ship, and the propellers placed horizontally are like helicopters that Gojo has seen in his previous life, and they can fly with this giant ship. Being able to fly in the sky is the greatest advantage of the arc proverbs. As far as Gojo knows, there are only a handful of things that can fly in the sky in this world, and the most famous of them is the Golden Lion Shiji's flying pirates. If you drive the arc proverbs to the Great Voyage, whether you face pirates or navies, you can achieve a huge advantage. Of course, this advantage is not what Gojo values the most, and this advantage is dispensable for him. The most important reason to use the arc proverbs as the main ship of the spell pirates is that to become the emperor of the sea, you must always have a passable ship, and the arc proverbs are quite appropriate. With a stomp, Gojo teleported and came directly to the deck of the arc proverbs. Esther's, Sasuke, and Analu followed suit. Once here, Gojo marveled at the luxury of Analu. At a glance, the entire arc proverbs are made of pure gold, shining in the light. This ship will be the pirate ship of our spell pirate group in the future, no problem, right? Analu. Gojo asked Analu again. This god wants to join the pirate group. If there is no domineering ship, it is too humiliating for this god's face, and the arc proverbs will be good for you. Although very reluctant, Analu thought of the situation when he was beaten just now, and still agreed. Very good, you won't regret today's decision. Gojo continued. By the way, there's one more thing I want to ask you. Quote. Goku has not forgotten the purpose of coming to the empty island. In addition to subduing Analu and taking away this arc proverb, the gold hidden on the empty island is the primary goal of Gojo. The gold used by Analu to create the arc proverbs is only a part, and there should still be a lot of gold buried on this island. Since you come here, of course, you must take it. What's going on? There should be a lot of gold on this island, and there should be a lot of gold in addition to the proverbs used to build this arc. Gojo asked. That's right, except for the construction of the arc proverbs, most of the others have been collected by this god and taken to the temple. Analu replied. Then go to your temple. Gojo turned to Korrit and the others who were still below the arc proverbs and said, Korrit came up with your people. Yes, Goku-sama. After a while, everyone also came to the arc proverbs. At this time, Korrat's men were like crazy, running around the arc proverbs excitedly. What is the arc proverbs made of? It is gold. This world's recognized currency. And Korrat's subordinates, as pirates, where have they seen so much gold, not to mention that this is a giant ship made of gold. Everyone was so excited that they felt like they were dreaming, and even more, they bit their teeth to confirm whether it was real gold. Lord Goku, will this be the pirate ship of the spell pirate group in the future? Korlat swallowed a mouthful of saliva and asked Gojo. Of course, in addition, there is more gold for us to take. And more. The arc proverbs has so much gold, what could be more than that? Korrat felt a pang of vertigo. He had never seen so much gold in so many years as a pirate. Fortunately, I went to the empty island with Goku-sama at that time. Analu, go to your temple. It may be the butterfly effect. The arc Proverbs does not take a long time to complete like the original, and it is now ready to travel. Good. Analu sat in the driver's seat, and thunder appeared, spreading from his palm to the engine. It wasn't long before the roar of the machine began to sound, and the propellers above the arc Proverbs began to turn. After the arc Proverbs slowly rose to height, Analu controlled the arc and set out towards the temple. A moment later the ark arrived at the temple. That is the temple of this god, and the gold is placed in the temple. Analu pointed to the temple and said with some pride. Korlat, take your men and bring all the gold to Proverbs. Okay, Go-sama. After answering, Karat couldn't wait to take his men to the temple and began to search wildly. At the beginning, the 4 priests guarding the temple came to stop it. Gojo asked Oniro to come forward and let them join the team carrying the gold. Watching the gold constantly moving from the temple to the ark, Analu was a little distressed. This is all the gold of this god. After several hours of moving, all the gold in the temple was finally moved to the ark. Looking at the cabin full of gold, Gojo quietly opened the system and spent 1,000 baileys to get the system to estimate the price. According to the system's valuation, these golds are worth more than 5 billion baileys, plus the hundreds of millions of baileys who originally robbed pirates at sea, which is enough for Wujo to vigorously develop his power. Analu, from now on, the empty island will be the territory of our spell pirate group. After you leave with us, let your priests take care of it. Gojo said to Analu, who was still frustrated, and plant the pirate flag of the spell pirate group on the empty island. Understood, this god will arrange it. Analu replied weakly. Analu's efficiency was very good, and it didn't take long for the people of the empty island to know that the god Analu was defeated. Now the empty island has belonged to the spell pirates. And the empty island will no longer practice tyranny in the future, and will also be sheltered by the spell pirate group. Great. God is defeated. Finally no more tyranny. However, what is the spell pirates? I don't know, it's very powerful anyway. When the people of the empty island heard the news released by the priest, they talked about it for a while. Chapter 12. After occupying the empty island and arranging the governance policy, Gojo led the pirate group to the capital of 7 Waters. A few days later, Analu drove the arc Proverbs and finally arrived in the capital of the 7 Waters. Analu, you guard the ship. If anything happens, notify me immediately. Korit, you take your men down to buy supplies. After the arc Proverbs landed, Gojo made arrangements. Esther's, Sasuke and me. Benshin should not guard the ship. Benshin should also go out to see what Qinghai is like. In that case, go and see for yourself, but you must cover your hard net on the arc Proverbs and do not let anyone get close. Gojo saw that Analu came to Qinghai for the first time and agreed to his request. Where are we going? Estes asked Gojo. To the shipyard. Shipyard. Do you want to build ships? No, I'm looking for someone from shipbuilding. Shipbuilders, what to do with them? I'm not looking for ordinary people, they're spies for the world government. Sasuke interjected, so what? As spies, they are rare talents, we need to develop power, and their talents come in handy. Gojo grinned, as if he was determined to win them. Soon after, Gojo arrived at Carrera's shipyard. Several foremen were directing the shipbuilders to repair the shipbuilding. Several of the foremen were the ones Gojo was looking for. Rob Luki, finally see you. I wonder what this gentleman is looking for me for. Lu Chi asked very politely when he saw someone calling him. Lu Chi and others are in the capital of the 7 Waters undercover, and they treat people very warmly and deeply popularly, so even if they don't know Gojo, Lu Chi does not show disgust. Luki, join my pirate group. Gojo did not beat around the bush, but proposed directly to Luki. I'm sorry, sir, I think my job is good now, and I don't want to be a pirate. Luki was puzzled by Gojo's sudden invitation to join the pirates, and after being stunned for a while, he still refused. Are you going to continue undercover here? The faint words of the 5 enlightenments exploded in Lu Chi's ears. How would he know I was a spy? Has someone betrayed? No way. There are very few people who know that our undercover agents are in the capital of 7 Waters, and they are unlikely to betray. I don't understand what you mean by that. Although he was shocked in his heart, Lu Chi's face still did not show it. Worthy of being a trained spy. No need to pretend to be stupid anymore, aren't you just for the design drawings of the ancient weapon Hades? It seems that you already have very accurate information, and we don't need to disguise it anymore. Lucy said, and Kaku and Bruno in the neighborhood also walked up to Lucy. Foreman Lucy, are you spies? The shipwrights around Lucci can't believe that the people who have worked together for many years are spies with bad intentions. By your will, our mission failed. Lucy ignored the boatman's question and said to Gojo. If you fail, you will fail, you better come with me. In that case, let's take down your spell pirate group. Ha, want to fight? It's not that I look down on you, you really don't have that ability. Do you think you are invincible by defeating a Chiwusi? Lucy's tone revealed an icy meaning, and his eyes met Gojo's. I was invincible, that's just a fact. Defeating Chiwu-hai is just a matter of convenience. Looking at the battle that was about to break out at any time, Estes stood to the left of Gojo, while Sasuke walked to the right side of Gojo, just in time to form a one-on-one confrontation with Lucy, Kaku, and Bruno. I have heard about the crimes of your spell pirate group, killing the captain, destroying warships, wreaking havoc in Alabaston, and defeating the seven-armed sea Clockdar. You did all that, right? We did it. Lucci stretched out his hand and took off the hat he was wearing on his head, and said. Since you confessed your crime, then it is up to us to arrest you. Swoosh. The moment the words fell, Lucci moved, and the whole person was like an arrow off the string, showing a terrifying speed, and directly appeared in front of Gojo, kicking at Gojo violently. Arashi foot. Using that strong foot force to kick at high speed, he directly kicked out a huge vacuum air flow chopping wave, slashing horizontally towards Gojo's chest, even enveloping Estes and Sasuke in the attack range. Although he has been undercover for 4 years, Lucci's skills have not regressed. Swoosh, swoosh. Estes and Sasuke quickly dodged to the left and right. Gojo stood in place, not dodging or dodging, without the slightest fluctuation in his eyes. No lower limit technique. Gently raised his right hand, stretched out an index finger, and actually collided directly with the chopping wave that was enough to cut gold and jade. Boom. The powerful chopping wave touched Gojo's fingers, as if turning into substance, trying to cut Gojo's fingers. However, no matter how strong this slashing wave was, it could not advance an inch, and from a distance, it seemed as if it was designated in the air by a hand of Gojo. Gojo, who easily took the attack, said, "It's really dangerous. Try such an attack yourself." Then, Gojo's fingers flexed slightly, and then flicked sharply. Boom. The chopping wave that was flown by the 5 Goku bullets landed on the position where the 3 of Lucci originally stood, directly crashing the neat ground, causing the street to shake. Sure enough, as the intelligence said, you have a barrier that can withstand attacks, but the barrier must always have an upper limit. Lucci, who dodged his chopping wave, fell to the ground and said, "Do you think you can reach that limit? Do you really think you're invincible? There are many strong people in this world. How many times have I said that I am invincible? This is a fact. But there are always people who don't believe it." Lucy stared at Gojo, and listening to Gojo's words, he felt a little ridiculous. Is it? I don't know how thick the sky is. Swoosh. Swoosh. While Gojo confronts Lucy, Kaku and Bruno also rush towards Estes and Sasuke, respectively. Kaku. Beautiful young lady, please let me be your opponent. However, I won't show mercy to my subordinates. Estes, you can rest assured. I will show mercy to your men, because our captain will catch them alive. Kaku. Catch alive. Your captain is terrible. Quote. ... Sasuke pulled out his grass pheasant sword and pointed it at Bruno. Are you coming to be my opponent? Bruno. Abominable pirate, obediently tie up and capture. Sasuke. I really don't understand, what does he want such a weak person to do? Hearing Sasuke say that he was weak, Bruno shouted angrily, what an arrogance. Whoosh. Sue. Quote. Almost at the same time, Gojo attacked Lucy, Estes against Kaku, Sasuke against Bruno, and 6 at the same time. Chapter 13. The blow, or Arashi foot, just now was completely unable to break through the defense of Gojo, and Lucci judged that the strength of Goku was not a waste, and he had to give his full strength next. Arashi Kaido. Lucci let out a low sigh, and the whole person jumped up from the ground and came into the air, and the powerful flesh that had undergone countless exercises was completely stimulated by him, and his legs and feet were like sharp blades, slashing at the position where Gojo was located. Boom! In an instant, a huge bird-like slash that was hundreds of meters long suddenly burst out and struck towards Gojo. Esters and Kaku and the others, who were fighting, were forced to stop and retreat elsewhere under the threat of this huge slash. Boom! The huge slash slammed into the street in an instant, directly splitting a crack that was 100 meters long. It seems that you are also somewhat capable of launching this kind of attack. After avoiding the shockwave, Estes said towards Kaku. Not far in front of her, Kaku smiled and said, Luki's strength is the strongest among us. Not only that, that guy is also known as the strongest in CP9 for 800 years. Your captain is in danger. It's you who are dangerous. Only this level of attack cannot hurt our captain. Lu Qi stepped on the moon step and stayed in the air, but he did not show a relaxed expression, but stared down with serious eyes. The street was filled with dust, and as the wind blew, the position where Gojo was standing was gradually revealed. Gojo was still standing in place, and the 100-meter-long rift, just centered on him, was divided into two sections. Only the ground under Gojo's feet did not change at all. Ahem. Cough. Cough. It's a lot of dust. Gojo waved his hand in front of him, dispelling the dust, coughed a few times and said, What? How can it be? Unscathed. Kaku and Bruno were unbelievable when they saw Gojo go unharmed under such an attack. You may be stronger than Clockdar, but you are not my opponent yet. Gojo spoke calmly, and then suddenly launched a teleportation, and the whole person disappeared out of thin air. Then, at almost the same moment, he appeared above the back of Lu Qi and kicked down. Lu Qi's domineering look sensed Gojo, but he did not choose to dodge, turned around and kicked it. Armed color. Arashi foot. Boom. The 2 feet collided violently in the air, and Lu Qi's feet were wrapped in armed color domineering, exerting his strong foot power to the extreme, making the power of Arashi's feet even higher. Gojo's foot, on the other hand, was just an ordinary kick, not wrapped in armed color, and collided directly with Lu Qi. The 2 forces collided violently in the air, and a huge roar was transmitted in all directions. People hundreds of meters away from here couldn't help but feel shocked when they heard this terrifying loud noise. Is this thunder? The person who did not know the situation asked. It's someone fighting over there. The man who had just escaped from the battle area said in horror. Run farther or you'll be drawn into their battle. After a stalemate for a while, Gojo urged the spell and instantly increased its strength. Boom! Goku and Lu Qi's kicks directly divided the winner and loser, and Lu Qi's armed Arashi feet wrapped in arms were forcibly defeated by Gojo's urging spell. Lu Qi's whole person was smashed to the ground like a meteorite, and with a bang, the earth was smashed out of a big pit. What? Kaku and Bruno, who were not far away, were slightly shocked when they saw this scene, and Goku could actually put Lu Qi in the inferiority. Although Gojo has a condescending advantage, he can forcibly shoot Lu Qi out of the sky. Without a doubt, Gojo is the strongest they have ever fought so far. Ahem. Cough. Cough. Quote. Although Lu Qi was knocked to the ground, he was not injured much. When he sensed that his strength was not as strong as Gojo, he activated the iron block. With a strong physique and iron blocks, Gojo was hardly injured when he did not exert his full strength. Jumping out of the pit and looking at Gojo standing in the air, Lu Qi said, It is worthy of being the one who defeated Clockdar, and the strength is really not bad. Not far away, the other CP9 who were undercover in the capital of Seven Waters rushed here when they learned that Lu Qi and the others were fighting people. Lu Qi, are you all right? Why did the battle happen? The rest of CP9 who rushed to the scene couldn't help but gasp as they looked at the 100-meter-long rift in the huge pit in front of Lu Qi. Although each of them has undergone heavy selection and cruel training, their physiques have long surpassed ordinary people. But this kind of large-scale destructive attack is not something they can do, and Lu Qi really deserves to be the strongest in CP9 for 800 years. While being surprised by Lu Qi's strength, he also developed a deep jealousy for those who fought with Lu Qi. Being able to fight Lu Qi to this extent is definitely not something that ordinary people can do. Lu Qi did not look at Khalifa and the others, but said to them, I'm fine, you guys go help Kaku and Bruno. Quote. Lu Qi is their captain, and Khalifa is still very confident in his strength, and after glancing at each other, they rushed to the other two battlefields. Gojo watched Luki deploy the battle and did not launch a surprise attack. Instead, he stood there calmly and said indifferently, "Have you finished arranging your battle plan? Let you wait for a long time, let's divide the winner and loser." "No problem, but if you lose, you have to join my pirate group. Evil can never defeat justice. I will not lose, let alone join your pirate group. Gojo has a defensive barrier, and if you don't break this barrier, you can't hurt Gojo. Since that's the case, then use my strongest move to break through his defenses." Lu Qi's face froze, and he stepped on the moon step and rushed towards Gojo, closing his fists in front of him and aiming at Gojo. 6 styles Aoyi 6 King's Spear. In the face of Luki's attack, Gojo judged the power of Luki's move, and then blasted out his fist with the right force. Boom! Lu Qi's fists collided with Gojo's fists with 10 times the power of the empty island impacting Bay. This is Lu Qi's strongest move, and it is the highest meaning that can only be comprehended by those who are proficient in all 6 styles and cultivate to the extreme. Condense all the power into one point, and then burst into an incomparably terrifying destructive force. The two forces collided, and the figures of Gojo and Luki stopped in the air. Centered on the place where the two clashed, the entire street was hit by the shock wave, setting off a wave of aftermath, as if the air was trembling and the powerful impact rushed in all directions. The earth-shaking roar made all the people in the other two battlefields look over. CP9. I actually forced Luki to use the 6 King's gun. Sasuke. The movement is really big, it seems that I am going to show some real skills too. Esters. The battle over there should be almost over, then I also have to fight quickly. Quote. Boom. In a roar, the two forces divided the victory and defeat, and I saw the 5 enlightened lines suspended in the air without a trace of injuries on their bodies. In front of Gojo, Lu Qi failed to resist the impact, and the whole person was bombarded, and after crashing through several buildings, he smashed to the ground. Luki. The rest of CP9 exclaimed when they saw Luki being blasted away. Did I lose? Luki muttered a little incredulously. You lost, so I ask again, join my pirate group. Gojo came up to Luki and asked again. Ahem. Cough. After coughing up a mouthful of blood, Luki said. My justice will never allow me to submit. I won't join your pirate group. Although I knew it was hard to get you to volunteer, I tried it and it disappointed me. But. Gojo paused and said indifferently. Losers don't have the right to refuse. Sasuke. Sasuke. Huh, what's up? Let them see the power of your reincarnation eye. What do you mean? Control them with illusion. It's okay to do this earlier, what else to fight? Oh, aren't you having fun? In that case, let them see the power of my Uchiha family. What do you want to do? Lu Qi had a bad hunch. But no one answered him. Sasuke revealed his reincarnation eyes hidden under his hair, and the purple light flashed, and both the injured Luki and the fighting CP9 others stopped moving. The eyes of each of them turned into the appearance of the Eye of Reincarnation. Obviously they had no one who could resist the illusion of the Eye of Reincarnation. It seems to be under control. That's of course, this is the power of Uchiha. But can you change their eyes back to normal? It's so conspicuous. Quote. Little meaning. As he spoke, Sasuke restored their eyes to their original state. From today onwards, you are also members of our spell pirates, take Luki and come with us. Yes, Captain. CP9 and others answered in unison. Chapter 14. The blue sky is filled with a few white clouds floating and a few seabirds flying in the air from time to time. Suddenly, a golden-yellow behemoth appeared from the sky and headed towards the Chambord Islands. It was a giant ship with a pirate flag hanging on it. It's a flying pirate ship. As the last island in the first half of the Great Route, Chambord Land is the end of all routes, and in order to reach the second half of the Great Route, you must pass through Chambord Land. So the residents of Chambord Land can be regarded as well informed. But they have never seen such a pirate ship, which is actually made of gold. What a luxury this must be. As a stopover on the great shipping route, the Chambord Islands are mixed. Many pirates who arrived in the Chambord Islands saw the huge ship made of gold and were ready to move. This giant ship is the Arc Proverbs. Gojo watched as they watched, and the pirates who surrounded them did not stop them. Analu parked the boat on the shore. Standing on the ark and glancing at the pirates surrounding him, Gojo said. I didn't expect the pirates of the Chambord Islands to greet us so warmly. Ha ha ha. Boy, who do you think you are? We want to greet you. Obediently hand over your golden ship and spare you from death. It turned out to be our pirate ship. All right, if you have the ability, come and get it yourself. Boy, it's quite crazy, just let Uncle Ben teach you to be a man. Everyone go together. Whoever kills them, this ship will belong to whom? Kill, kill, kill. Turning around, Gojo said indifferently. Kill them all. Sasuke. That's what you're waiting for. Analu. I want to rob the ship of this god and look for death. Estes. I'll have fun with them. Quote. God's sanction. Thundered. In the blue sky, a thunder pillar formed, exuding a devastating aura. In the horrified eyes of the pirates, it fell with a bang. Boom. None of the pirates who were hit were spared, and all were electrocuted into scorched corpses. At this moment, the scene suddenly became chaotic. What a capability is this? Devil fruit. It's the devil fruit. They have devil fruit powers. Before they could finish exclaiming, Sasuke attacked. Amaterasu. Yandun +2 Mei. Sasuke's kaleidoscope turned, and as a drop of blood and tears flowed from the corner of his eye, black flames gushed out, turning into the form of an arrow and instantly shooting towards the pirate. The dense Amaterasu arrows made people have no time to dodge, and the pirates shrouded in a rain of arrows were all hit. Some were shot to the point and lost their lives on the spot. Some were shot in the arm, burned by Amaterasu, and tried to extinguish it, but they could not extinguish it, and they were finally burned out. What kind of monsters are these? Why is there such a weird ability? Run away. Quote. The moment the battle began, most of the people were wiped out, and although greedy, they also spared their lives. Looking at the terrifying strength gap in front of them, they had already been scared and wanted to run away with a few legs. Since you're here, why rush to leave? Frozen for thousands of miles. With a wave of Esther's hand, the ice spread from the ground, instantly catching up with the pirates who turned and fled. There was almost no stagnation, and the pirates were directly frozen into ice sculptures. Estes snapped his fingers and said, broken. As the words fell, the frozen pirates directly turned into ice slag and scattered from the air. At this point, all the pirates involved in the battle have been killed, and the process is only a few tens of seconds. The pirates and local residents watching the battle from a distance showed incredible expressions. What a power this is! What kind of pirate group are they? They seem to be the famous spell pirate group recently. Is that they defeated Klokdar in the Seven Martial Seas. It's even scarier than rumored. For a time, the news that the spell pirate group had arrived in the Chambord Islands was spread by those watching the battle. The rumors of their abilities are becoming more and more mysterious. What summons the thunder god? What can release the blood pupil that cannot extinguish the black flame? What the blue-haired witch who froze thousands of miles with a wave of her hand, and the white-haired handsome man who determined life and death between words. ... Gojo realized their arrival and made the entire Chambord Islands boil. But they did not care, but divided the troops into several ways. The Lucy Six and Corlat and others stayed behind in the Arc Proverbs. Others went to the interior of Chambord. Sasuke and Analu are in a group, while Gojo Goku is in a group with Esther's. ... Soon after, a bar in the Chambord Islands. With his hands in his pockets and Gojo with a black blindfold, walked in through the door. Since he is dressed a little strangely, it has attracted the attention of many people who are drinking. Some of them thought Gojo was a little familiar, but couldn't remember who he was. Gojo didn't pay attention to the gazes of others, but went straight to the bar and sat down. The lady asked, "Sir, what kind of wine do you want to drink?" Gojo: "It's okay, you just look at it." "Yes, sir." Then Gojo looked at the man sitting next to him. The man was somewhat scruffy in his dress, with pale hair and beard, and looked like an ordinary middle-aged man. But Gojo Goku knows that he is once the world-shattering, the deputy leader of Roger's Pirates, Hades Rayleigh. I didn't expect to be able to meet Mr. Riley here. Although he came specifically for Renly, Gojo felt that it was better to show a coincidence with Renly. Gollum. Grunt. Riley drank the wine in his glass, turned his head to look at Gojo and said, "I really didn't expect that after so many years, there are still young people who can remember the name of this old man of mine. Even if he was called out by Gojo Goku for his true identity, Renly did not panic. This is the calmness of the strong man who once stood at the peak of the sea. Gojo continued. Mr. Rayleigh's daimyo, how could anyone forget it? I wonder if Mr. Rayleigh still wants to return to the sea. Ha ha ha. Return to the sea. I'm an old man, I can't stand the toss anymore, the time for our guys has passed. It's the time of your youth. Quote. Renly has no intention of returning to the sea. It's a shame, but Mr. Riley, if you want to return to the sea again, be sure to come to the kid's boat to see it. I am always welcome. The kid's name is Gojo Gojo and he is the captain of the Spell Pirates. Quote. Gojo Gojo in his previous life liked Renly very much, and now he also respects him. I said how you are a little familiar, it turns out that you have always given the Navy a headache recently, the leader of the Spell Pirate group. While Gojo and Renly were communicating, the people in the bar, who also heard what they were talking about, became commotion. I didn't expect that here, I would actually run into the deputy captain of the former One Piece King Roger, and the leader of the Spell Pirate group who has recently been in the limelight, white-haired Gojo. White hair is the title of Gojo Gojo Goku, which some people gave him based on the characteristics of Gojo Gojo Goku white hair. By the way, in the capital of Seven Waters, after capturing the spies of the world government, Goju's bounty directly reached 300 million Baileys, Esther's bounty was 100 million Baileys, and Sasuke's bounty was 110 million Baileys. As for Analu, he did not participate in the battle in the capital of Seven Waters, so he was not rewarded. That person is Hades Renly. There is also a reward of 300 million Baileys, gray-haired 5 Goku. I don't know who it is, but he called out the names of Renly and Gojo. There was chaos in the bar, and many people fled outside in a panic. There were also some people, although they did not escape, but they also looked solemn and broke out in cold sweat. However, Gojo and Renly were not affected, but continued to drink and chat. Estes sits beside Gojo and pours wine for Gojo from time to time. Chapter 15. On a street somewhere in the Chambord Islands. A tall man with a slave collar crawled almost naked on the ground. On his back is a man dressed in strange costumes. This strangely dressed person is none other than Draco, a world nobleman. This Draco waved the whip in his hand, directly pumped it on the slave, and said, "Climb faster." The people on the street, seeing the Draco, gave way in horror, and knelt on both sides of the street, lowering their heads for fear of angering the Draco. Even the unruly pirates who killed countless people obediently fell to their knees. Because when he saw Draco, he would be executed if he did not kneel. If you provoke Draco, then the admiral will come. But in the direction of Draco's advance, there were still 2 people who did not kneel. Instead, he swaggered towards Draco. The 2 of them were none other than Sasuke and Analu. Ha! Draco saw that Sasuke and Analu did not kneel, and said angrily, "You 2 pariahs, you dare not kneel when you see me." Analu, ha! When you see this god, if you don't kneel, forget it, you even dare to let this god kneel. Sasuke, idiot, also worthy of me kneeling. What a rampant pariah. Kill both of them for me. The Draco ordered at his men. The bodyguards protecting him immediately raised their guns and aimed them at Sasuke and Analu. Boom. But before they could do it, they pulled the trigger, and with a few thunders, a devastating electric light enveloped Draco and his bodyguards, directly taking their lives. The humble mortal actually called God to kneel. Find death. Oh my god. Draco was killed. Are they looking for death? Run. The admirals are coming. Quote. Seeing Draco killed, the whole street was chaotic, and everyone was very frightened. That was Draco. The inhabitants of the Chambordi Islands ran home with rolls and closed doors. And the pirates also turned around and ran, because the admirals are coming. Sasuke and Analu, who were the perpetrators, continued to wander the streets fearlessly. Navy headquarters. Jingle bells. Jingle bells. Hey, I'm Sengoku, what's the matter? Admiral Sengoku picked up the phone. Report Marshal, Draco was killed in Chambord. What did you say? Draco was killed, what bastard did it? It was done by the people of the Spell Pirates. Bastard. Another Spell Pirate group. If I don't catch them, how can I explain to the people of the Holy Land? Quote. Bang. After Sengoku hung up the phone, he slammed his fist on the desk. The yellow ape, who was sitting on the side drinking tea, heard that Draco had been killed, so he quietly stood up and slipped towards the door. If you don't leave, you can't touch the fish. Stop, yellow ape, where are you going? Oh, I suddenly remembered that I still have a task to complete, and now I plan to complete it. No matter what the task is, don't care, now you immediately go to Chambordland and capture all the bastards who killed Draco for me. But, my mission. The yellow ape still wanted to continue to strive to be able to touch fish. Go quickly, Sengoku said without question. Okay, I'll take a run. Draco has an accident, and the general is going to move. Seeing that he couldn't touch the fish, the yellow ape, cheerfully, agreed to the warring states. Soon after, boom, as the first roar sounded, the sound of explosions was heard one after another, and the whole island was filled with shouts of killing. Listening to the noise outside the bar, Gojo asked, "What's going on? Why is it so noisy?" Renly said indifferently, "It may be that the pirates are making trouble." At this time, a pirate broke in from outside the door and said, "Captain, Draco has been killed, the admiral is over. Let's run." "What did you say? It's time for the admiralty. Which fool was Draco killed by?" "It seems to be someone from the Spell Pirates." "What? Spell the people of the pirates?" The leader of the pirate group glanced at Gojo, turned around and left. "All the big guys can't afford to mess with." Renly heard that it was the Spell Pirates who killed the Draco, and laughed. "Ha ha ha, it seems that your team members are very personality. It's just going to get in trouble. But Draco should have been killed, kill it." Gojo said indifferently, "The admiral is coming, aren't you going to help? It's also time to go and see which admiral the navy sent over." Gojo said nonchalantly, not taking the admiral in his eyes at all. Boom, rumble, rumble, quote, beams of destruction burst out of the pacifists' mouths. It was Orochimaru who arrived with a few pacifists. Bastard, how did reinforcements from the navy arrive so quickly? Watching his subordinates being pierced by the beam, a pirate captain roared. The weapons and attacks of these pirates cannot cause the slightest damage to the pacifists at all, and can only be passively avoided. Everyone scattered and fled, and after escaping, gather at our pirate ship. Another pirate captain said to his crew. But as soon as his words fell, a golden light flashed to his side. "Have you ever been kicked at the speed of light?" The devilish whisper exploded in the ears of the pirate leader, making his scalp tingle. "Admiral, Huang, yellow ape," quote, bang. Before he could shock, the captain was flown out. "Captain, damn it," quote. A pirate saw his captain, was kicked and roared, and pointed the gun in his hand at the yellow ape. "Go and die." Bang. With a gunshot, the yellow ape's body was pierced, but no blood flowed out, it was elementalized. "It's terrible," the yellow ape said, terrifying in his mouth, but his face did not show the slightest look of fear. Boom. In the next instant, the pirate who shot him was kicked away without even having time to react. "The people who killed the Draco are over there, what are you chasing us for?" a pirate said, pointing to the street in the distance. "Oh, thank you so much for your information, as a thank you I won't arrest you." Saying that, the yellow ape flashed into the distance. "Arrest them all." After the yellow ape left, Orochimaru ordered the pacifists and the navy. "Didn't you say don't arrest me? Why did you arrest me again?" the pirate who was let go by the yellow ape said unwillingly. "It was the yellow ape general who said that he didn't catch you. What does it have to do with my war peach pill?" On the other side of the street. It seems that someone is coming towards this god, and the speed is very fast, and it is comparable to this god. Analu's sight sensed the yellow ape. "It seems that those pirates said just now, the admiral has arrived." "Admiral, is it awesome? You go and fight him, don't you know? Don't you claim to be a god? Are you afraid?" Sasuke irritated Analu badly. He had already ridden the wheel eye with a kaleidoscope to confirm the strength of the yellow ape. It is the current Analu, an opponent who is impossible to defeat. Just let the other party teach a lesson, this confused and confident guy. Ha ha ha. Fear, who has this god been afraid of? Just let him see the strength of this god. Then I'll take a good look at your performance. Don't be too quick to ask me for help. With that, Sasuke jumped back, leaving the battlefield for the upcoming battle. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.